This is radio for the revolution at ronpaulradio.com.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? You're back, and I'm your host, Paco. You're listening to Occupy the Media. So, let's see. We had some good news last segment. Ron Paul did win Louisiana caucus. Don't forget, Ron Paul will be at University, California in Davis Town Hall. That's West Memorial Union Quadrangle. That's at 7 p.m. on May 3rd. That's coming up on Wednesday. UC Davis on May 3rd, 7 p.m. Ron Paul. And also, he's set to speak at University of California in San Diego, Warren Mall. That's 7 p.m. on May 4th. That's next Friday. Looks like I'll be making that. And we're going to do our best to try to get to Ron Paul if we can. And the Warren Mall is on the north side of the Warren Lecture Hall. Interesting article I came across here over the weekend. Ron Paul scores Massachusetts delegates. So it looks like we're winning in Massachusetts as well. Let's see. Ron Paul scored another stunning victory on Saturday after winning 19 delegate slots in the Massachusetts congressional district selection process. Because the Massachusetts primary was proportional, delegates are required to vote during the first round at the Republican National Convention, according to the state's March 6 popular vote. Presumptive nominee Mitt Romney is guaranteed 38 of the 41 delegates during the first round. But should a second round of voting be required, delegates can vote for whomever they wish. The Romney slate showed a quick video of Romney's wife congratulating her husband's supporters, followed by the Romney candidate's speeches. They made emotional, often angry, and desperate pleas for party unity. An older woman specifically called out the Ron Paul supporters, accusing them of undermining the democratic process. Her remarks were met with angry jeers from the crowd as the majority Unity Liberty audience either shouted back in their defense or merely laughed at what transpired, which is a joke because they're undermining the democratic process or the voting process with all the fraud that's going on. Next, the Ron Paul slate gave its speeches. These candidates talk mostly about property rights but never mentioned Ron Paul by name. The point which drew the most applause of the entire morning was one alternate's call for putting an immediate end to the occupation of Afghanistan. The Massachusetts upset comes on the same day Ron Paul won the overwhelming majority of delegates in Louisiana. The Texas congressman also scored 20 out of 24 delegates in the Minnesota congressional districts, as well as Iowa. The Paul campaign believes it will chalk up similar victories in other caucus states. So that's great. We got Louisiana down. We're doing good in Massachusetts. We're doing good. We won Minnesota. So we're about to have that 5 states that you need to go to the convention. And we should have a lot more than that. I mean, I don't know where the media is getting their delegate numbers, but I can't tell Mitt Romney's in the lead at all. I don't know who's in the lead, but I know it's a tight race, and we got the momentum, though. Another one here, good article that I found on csmonitor.com. Ron Paul beat Romney in 10 states. Let's see. Romney has $10 million in the bank, no debts, and a general election looming on the horizon. But before we pivot toward November, let's remember that Paul outraised Romney in 10 states, including some that will be key battlegrounds in the fall, according to figures compiled by Eric Ostermeyer, a political scientist at the University of Minnesota's Hubert H. Humphrey Center for the Study of Politics and Governance. Quote, Ron Paul leads Mitt Romney in large donor-itemized fundraising in 10 states, representing all 4 geographical regions from the Northwest, the South, which is Northwest is Maine, the South Arkansas, the Midwest, Iowa, Kansas, Minnesota, North Dakota, Wisconsin, and the West, Alaska, Hawaii, New Mexico. If small donor contributions were rolled into the figures, it is likely Paul would have won the money primary in a few other states, such as Vermont, Delaware, and Montana. Of course, Romney had a big cash lead in rich states such as New York and California. That's how he ended up with all those tens of millions of campaign donations. But Paul did beat Romney somewhere in something. You can take it to the bank. Of course, because Romney got the bankers supporting him. That's why it's only from a certain, few locations. But Ron Paul's getting donations everywhere. And he's getting it from the 99%, not the 1%. So, it's kind of hard to beat all that money. But, we got more numbers. We got more people, more heads. So that's on our side. So, and they did say in this article that a key thing of winning the presidency and the nomination is having money and funding. And here we go right here, beating Mitt Romney in 10 states. But somehow we can't even beat Rick Santorum in one of the races after he drops out. These numbers are so funny. And like I said, numbers don't lie. The people that report them do. And you got to remember that. This is so true. Okay, so I'm watching CNN the other day. I think we could play this clip before the break. I'm watching CNN the other day, and they're talking about Mitt Romney going to Liberty University. There was a lot of commotion, a lot of backfire from students that don't want Mitt Romney to come and speak at Liberty University during their graduation. So I'm going to go ahead and play that clip. That was on CNN, and we'll see if we can talk about that after the clip. Here we go.
Likely Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney is set to deliver next month's commencement address at the nation's largest evangelical university, Liberty University. Romney's hoping to win over evangelicals, but his visit is already stirring up controversy. Students are flooding social media, expressing their outrage. One writes, Liberty University should have gotten a Christian to speak, not someone who practices a cult. And here's another post. I'm glad I'm not graduating this year. I would not want to end my studies at a Christian university by being sent into the world at commencement by a Mormon. We came to Liberty because of our faith in Jesus, not for political reasons. Joining me now is the president of the Family Research Council, Tony Perkins. And Tony, I know you're also a Liberty grad and you received an honorary doctorate from the school recently, so welcome.
Good morning, Carol. How are you?
I'm good. Well, let me start by asking, do you agree with your alma mater's decision to invite Romney?
Yeah, I mean, Liberty has a long history of having political figures speak at their graduations. When I graduated in 1992, it was Pat Buchanan was the speaker. I was on campus, in fact, received my honorary doctorate when John McCain spoke back in 2006. So there's a long history of these, of having political figures come to the campus and speak. I think it's full of potential for Mitt Romney. I think it's going to be educational for both him and for the evangelical community, and it's an opportunity for him. And I think it's not a complete surprise. There's a strong connection between him and the university with one of the few evangelicals that's been supporting him from the very beginning, has strong ties to the university and is on the board of trustees. So it's not a big surprise that he's been invited to speak there.
But what if Romney is booed? What if some students decide not to walk during graduation?
I don't think they'll do that. Look, this is these students are very mature. They may not agree with it, and that's certainly their right. And there may be some that might pass on graduation, but I doubt it. They will be very respectful, probably more so than any campus across America. You will find a very warm reception for Mitt Romney there at Liberty
I don't
University.
know, Tony. Young people nowadays, they know what they're doing and they're strong-minded. It could happen.
And who are they talking about? They're talking about Ron Paul supporters. Just say it. They want Ron Paul. They're screaming for Ron Paul. That's what was on the website. That was on the blog. That's what everybody was talking about. This whole interview, they don't even mention Ron Paul. I'm going to play the rest of it when we get back because I know we headed to the break. Mitt Romney coming to Liberty University. I'm Paco, your host. We'll be back.
We were brought up loving our country. That in the United States of America, we were free. And that's an attitude that we've tried to instill in our children. I met my wife in the Air Force. I was a combat pilot in Vietnam. I served in Desert Storm as a commander. When I graduated from the academy, I took the oath of office. And as a commander, I administered that oath to many people. Now I wonder about the understanding people have of our Constitution, and I think about our candidates for President of the United States. It's interesting to see the support Ron Paul gets from the military. And if we think back to the code of conduct and people raising their right hand that they were going to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, why would those same people support in great numbers Ron Paul? I think it's because they've raised their right hands and they're putting their lives on the line for us here in the United States. And they know that Ron Paul does the same.